Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can kind of see it there. How's it going, everybody? No wonder the music isn't playing. It's supposed to be playing. So it's not so boring. It's supposed to be playing the damn music. Come on. Very weird. I give up. Forget the music. Doesn't matter. More problems tonight. Every place I went had sprinklers on. If you guys didn't hear me before, another stream, there's the music, finally. The grass, even if it's wet, doesn't matter. I'm above the wet grass, but grass basically allows consistent cool temperature around the scope, assuming the hot part of the day. By now the concrete and the asphalt is all pretty cold, but if you start earlier in the night, they're radiating heat from the day, so you can get shimmering in your views, which adds to the atmospheric distortion you already get from scene issues, what they call scene, where the atmosphere is unstable from weather and local other disturbances and stuff. So, and it's been on and off clouds all night. I did a microscope stream earlier on my other channel because the clouds came rolling in, and now they pretty much gone except for like an 18-degree belt around the horizon, pretty much, but pretty much cloud-free all the way around above me. But yeah, I had several places I normally go had the damn sprinklers on again. So I finally found a deserted, well, at least at this time of night, mostly deserted industrial dead-end street that's pretty dark. So got a few people driving by. Security guard asked me what I'm looking at. I said I hadn't get anything set up yet, but he's decent. He's a nice person. So nobody harassed me here, and it's pretty dark, and it's right by my car, so it's actually even easier to set up than the grass was. So looking at Jupiter right now, I had to expose it for the disk, so you're not seeing the moons right now. Seeing conditions aren't, even though it's not cloudy, it's not great. It's plus it's a little windy. You can see the image shaking a little bit there. But hopefully you guys can see the equatorial belts there. They're kind of visible. I may have to tweak it a little bit further. At least they were visible. Focus a little bit better. I'm using a new zoom eyepiece, 2-inch zoom eyepiece that has threads on the top of it, so you can actually mount a T adapter, and got the T adapter for the Nikon Z mirrorless camera. So I'm really just going straight from the camera to the zoom eyepiece to the scope. It's as little optics as I can get in the way to try and maintain a better quality. Let me zoom in. So I'm doing digital zoom here just to make it easier to see, because the image is still a little bit small. It's supposed to be parfocal, where you rotate the zoom and you get once you focused it, it stays pretty much focused, but camera adds another variable to it, and as I rotated it, the camera was kind of going out of focus. So rather than monkey with it more, I thought I would just leave it right where it is. You can see the equatorial belts there in the middle. I might have to focus it a little bit better. Sorry, I'm bumping the scope here, so it's shaking a little bit. It's kind of crap scene, but hopefully I can see it on the screen here looking at it, and it's blown up on your screen, hopefully a little bit bigger. So you should be able to see the 2 equatorial belts toward the center of the disk. You can also see other features too when you're lucky, when the scene's better. But anyway, I was trying to show this last time I had Jupiter on here, but it was all washed out. And so I finally got a big enough image that's at least stable enough to zoom in on with this nice zoom eyepiece. And then in between, you should be able to see the lines. There's basically 2 parallel lines right in the middle. It's called the equatorial, north and south equatorial belts. Let's see if I got the chat working or not. Again, tethering wasn't so bad tonight. I'm in a decent area for it. So that for once was actually not a problem. Looks like nobody's on right now. Let me refresh here. I'm gonna go to live chat. Let me pop out the chat so I can. I'm curious what you guys are seeing, but I also want to watch the chat. I can make the chat bigger, a little easier to read. Okay, there we go. Move that over. Okay, it's not a bad image of Jupiter on the screen here. A little easier to see on here than it is on my little camera screen. Although it's a pretty good screen, it's just smaller. Oh no, I'm losing it again. Tracking is a little bit off too because I was rushed setting this up, so. Oops. And zooming is just making it more tricky. Ah, now it's off screen. Get back. There we go. There we go. Just stay on the screen a little bit better. So yeah, the motor drive is doing its job, but because my alignment is kind of slightly piss poor, it's not holding like it should. But yeah, you can see the belts. So very nice, very nice. So I'm going to leave it here for a little while, see if anyone shows up. It's nice to have the, I just left the astronomy program in the background just so you can see what I'm looking at. It's not, my auto alignment thing is off, so the software's off. That's telling you the orange thing is down somewhere else, and it's, so I'm not going to bother tweaking that. More important to get some images tonight. So there's a fuzzy Jupiter. You can see the scene is coming and going. It gets sharp and then it gets fuzzy and then it's sharp and fuzzy. It's not 100% sharp ever because conditions aren't great, but this is when you start taking multiple images with a, in the old days you use a webcam, but now you use a DSLR or point and shoot camera or whatever. Take either a short video, break the AVI down into chunks and process them as stills, or just take a whole bunch of stills, put them in a folder. This registration software will basically go through and process them, tell you how many were bad. You can basically say, just keep the good 20% of several hundred images, so in the future I'm going to start doing that on the stream. Something like this, I'll take a short video, Jupiter, process the things, and basically have it go and see what happens. I can actually pull this off the stream and process this later. Oh boy, lost my image again. Hold on here. I gotta keep an eye on this better because it's not tracking perfectly. Okay. Sorry, there's a delay in the stream, so you didn't see me change it yet, but zoom in again. Chat and see if anyone's here. Not yet. So again, you can see the equatorial belts. You can see some darkening on one of the poles. I think that's just an artifact, but it also might be, there are some markings you can see sometimes. Some of the cloud markings near the pole there. So it actually could be some more markings that I'm actually lucky to be able to see. They're just not super clear right now. So like I said, it's a little bit windy. Not enough to pick up on the mic, but it's causing the image to be a little unstable. Because I'm exposing for the disk, so you can see these details, you're not seeing the moons. They're there. It's just, they're small, they're bright, but they're pretty small. And so, I don't know if you remember, I mentioned in another stream, some friends had been imaging Mars back in '88 up at a site we were at, and these guys are, I was basically a kid back then, but I just joined the club, and I was really into this stuff from the beginning, but I didn't know, much technical stuff about it. And these guys said, "Oh, we read this article where you can basically, Mars was at opposition, meaning it was opposite the sun in the sky, so it's up all night. It's also at perihelion and perigee, so close to the sun and close to the Earth, and so it's huge, right? So you can actually see." Clearly it's a planet and not just an orangey star in the sky. And so we were, a couple nights we were up at the local club site, and these guys said, "Hey, you know what, it's so big right now, if we do this little trick where we block the disk of Mars to knock down the brightness of your, because the disk is so bright, your pupils stop down a little bit, and you can miss the fine details of Phobos and Deimos, the tiny moons going around Mars, which are still considered to be captured asteroids, I believe, because they look really oblong and weird looking. They're not spheroid like the moon is. They're pretty weird looking, and they're small. So anyway, we were able to the guys put a little piece of paper or something in the eyepiece as a occultation disc, blocked out the disk, and we were able to watch the moons go behind Mars. It's hilarious. It only took a couple hours, and you can only see that, first of all, with the eyepiece trick and when it's really, really close. So I haven't seen them for years. I mean, that was the last time I saw them, I think. 93 had also another good appearance of Mars, but I think 88 was even better, if I remember correctly. I got some digiscope shots of Mars through a friend's scope up at Yosemite before I bought a decent scope. And so, you know, just hand holding the thing at the scope, matching the exit pupil of the eyepiece, and just firing off several shots and getting lucky with some of them. And you process them, and they look pretty good. So, so it worked out pretty well. But I haven't had that many good views of Mars in a long time. Certainly not the moons and all that. But oops, fix it this way. Okay, so it's still there. Stay here a little bit longer, just because I'm enjoying looking at Jupiter, and this actually looks pretty good on the screen. Like I said, it's a little small on my camera viewfinder, but on the stream it looks pretty good actually. A little dim, but you can clearly see the belts. And if the scene is much better and you get a nice clear image, you can see the great red spot if it's visible. But I don't see it in this picture. Usually there's a dent in the equatorial belt, so you can tell it's there even if you can't see the color. So I'd have to check a chart, which I didn't, to see if it's visible right now. Maybe we'll take a quick look at that, just as long as I keep this thing centered, because it keeps moving with my poor alignment. There we go. Get that centered a little bit. Let's see, let's go look at got cars driving by. Say, what is this maniac doing on the sidewalk? Still there, yeah. Let's see. Let's go look at Jupiter. Let's see what it's presenting. Take a snapshot from the software, and I'll post it in the post a link to it in the show notes from Google Drive or something, so you can see what it looked like exactly the same time I took these pictures. So on the map, you can see the two equatorial belts. Well, technically, one of the equatorial belts in the image here, which is probably either a Voyager or a Hubble image, probably a Voyager image. One of the equatorial belts clearly has some additional breakage or a layer. It's like a white line going through it, so it's not totally solid. One is really solid and one is less so. I forgot if that's a recent feature or if that's always been that way. So you can clearly see those there, and then the pole that looks kind of shaded to the right there of the image is definitely shaded in this view. So it is picking that up here, which is pretty good. It's a much wider area. The bottom pole is much thinner. Oh, so I'm losing it again. I'm losing it again. Gotta keep an eye on that. I'm watching the stream, which is the delayed feedback, so. So anyway, red spot is not visible right now. So if it is, I will try to look for it, but it's probably right on the limb or just behind. So that's cool. So I finally got a halfway decent image of Jupiter for you guys. Last two times it was just, I was trying to expose for the moon so you can see the whole thing, but then it just, the disc totally washes out. And there are tricks where you can get it just right, where it's exposing both. But Most people want to see the disk anyway. It's the money shot. The moons are cool, but they're just tiny little dots, look like nearby stars if you just glance at it. So let's give a couple more minutes and then I'll go to Saturn. Saturn's starting to go lower in the sky, which means more atmosphere, which means it's going to get more muck. And since this already looks pretty bad for Jupiter, and Jupiter's pretty high. It's about 50 degrees maybe from the horizon. So it's not bad. It's not perfect. You'd rather have it near as close to the zenith as you can get if you want the clearest view. But it's certainly higher than it was a couple hours ago when it would have been really bad. You guys will catch it on the replay because nobody's showing up. You're missing Jupiter. Okay, so that should be enough. I don't want to fiddle around with the focus anymore. It's about as good as it's going to get. It's just, as you can see, the scene is coming in and out. It's like looking through a fine bit of cloth or lace or something like that. So I'll try running. I'll grab a bunch of frames from this video, dump it through the registration software, and see what I get. Might get some actually decent shot out of this. I've seen way worse pictures stacked turn out really, really well from webcams. So I will process this later and upload it so you guys can see it. But anyway, there's Jupiter. Let me recenter it one more time because you're not seeing an edge, but on the time delay it's actually on the edge. And I'm going to zoom out one level, and I'm going to play with the exposure a little bit just so you can see the moons again before we go away. There's a zoomed picture with the moons. Now you can see I pretty much lost the belts. And the moons are just dancing all over the place. The image seen is terrible. There you go. There's some moons. I'm watching the replay, so it's off by like 30 seconds, I think. So I'm going to zoom out one more time. And you'll see all the moons. At least the Galilean moons that you can see in the scope. And you can punch in date and time if you want to see what moons they are. And I can also zoom out here and see what they are in stellarium. So from the bottom right going up left, Ganymede, Io, Europa, and Callisto. So Callisto's on the other side by itself. Ganymede's the furthest one out, also the largest one. So anyway, there you go. That's Jupiter. Time to go to Saturn. So let me zoom out one more time so I have a better image to play with. And I'm going to slew this guy to Saturn. I might have to do some corrections because my thing is off. That's not what I wanted. There we Saturn, here we go. Go ahead and disconnect the software from the drive because it's pointless right now with the configuration being off. So you can hear the motor is slewing. It's doing a simultaneous right ascension declination movement, which is fun to watch. It's very, very active drive. Then it gets near where it's supposed to be, and then it does a slow slewing, like precision slewing. Of course, now it's on the other side of the scope from the computer, so I'm going to have to peek around it to see what I'm doing here. Let me get it centered in here. Oh, it's so far off, it's funny. There we go. Check how's it looking in here before I change the power. Get the old YouTube delay here. It's bouncing around here on the replay. Okay. It's pretty much centered, but small. So let's go ahead and zoom it. Just doing digital zoom right now with the live view. Give the effect. Seeing is pretty bad anyway, so I'm not going to waste a bunch of time getting it perfect. Still should be able to see the disc. It's kind of bright right now, so I'm going to basically fix the it's a little bit, what you call boiling. It's a little bit turbulent. The image is kind of shimmery. Not terrible though. Sorry, I keep walking in front of the scope because of the way it's positioned here. And let's zoom in again. Bright. I'll leave it there for a couple seconds and then I will fix the exposure. It's a nice big image though. I wish it were a little bit more stable, but it's just one of those nights. Change the shutter speed a little bit so it gets a little more mellow, not so burning up here. Be about as good as it's going to get tonight. I can probably focus it a tiny bit more now that I'm seeing it's more like a UFO than Saturn. It's just the scene is pretty bad tonight. So that's more the normal cream colored yellowy Saturn. But I'm basically not touching anything, and you see it's zooming in digitally, showing more of the flaws of the atmosphere right now. See, it's getting all kinds of distortions. So that's the problem, is you can look up and go, wow, it's really clear tonight. This is great. And then you look a little closer and you go, oh, the stars are twinkling pretty bad. Well, this is why they're twinkling. Blowing this up like this, you can really see the atmospheric distortion that causes stars to twinkle. Saturn right now isn't really twinkling naked eye. It looks pretty good. But it really is, as you can see when you zoom in on it. So, visually, it's still fun to look at it, but it's not, you wouldn't really take pictures in a night like tonight that you would want to enjoy for any length of time, because individual frames may look good, but again, a lot of them are going to be distorted because see, it looks like Saturn's doing a dance right now. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so you've seen Saturn a bunch already on my stream, so I'm not going to stay here too long. I just pointed because it was up. However, the moon should look pretty good because the moon is big and bright. Atmospheric stability, be damned to a certain extent, should look pretty damn good. So I'm going to go there right now. Change sides here so I can go adjust this stuff. There's wires everywhere. I don't want to bump into the laptop and all this other junk. So get ready for this. I'm going to have to quickly adjust the camera because it's going to be way overexposed. I'm going to leave it the way it is right now just so you can see the effect. I think I left the digital zoom on too, so it's going to be pretty big. Yep, I missed it. It's off by a little bit. Oh yeah. It's a big old white field right now. Let me zoom out. Really have to tweak this. Oops, wrong direction. That's pretty good right there. Let it settle down a little bit so you can see it. Still a little bit hot, looks like. Drop it down one more, maybe. There we go. So now I can go. Oops. Let's turn the slew down. That's too fast. There we go. So since it was new moon, full moon yesterday, it's still pretty damn full. Center that, leave it there for a second. So even on a crappy night, as long as the clouds aren't totally covering it, even if they are in a reflector, it doesn't matter so much because you can pull the light and look through the clouds. But you can always count on the moon. And again, even in a small department store crappy telescope, $100 or less, or decent pair of binoculars, the moon always looks good. me zoom out a little bit more digitally. Let's see. Oops. I think that's it. Snap a couple frames here while I'm here. What the hell? Okay. Now I can do digital zoom on some features here. Let's see. We're showing some of the focus issues here. So we can fix that a little bit. Again, it's not seeing isn't good even for the moon. But if zoom full all the way out, it looks pretty good even in these conditions. Let me fix this a little bit better. It's okay. Then again, you have to pick a spot and just hang there for a while. And if I use the moon filter, or the trick I showed you on my first video, I think it was, where I use my hand to stop down the disc, and you get some contrast based on how much you cover up. But it's still not a great image because of the atmosphere. Let me go real close. See if I can do a careful focus a little bit better. Yeah, that's kind of bad, really. I'm gonna zoom back out where it looks decent. Just leave it there for a little bit. You can enjoy that view. Obviously, I can't do any deep sky stuff like I was doing in Yosemite because not only do you need a clear sky, but you also need a darker sky. It's kind of hard to do those exposures without overexposing everything around the object. So again, it's not a perfect night for this, but I wanted to take another shot at it. Now clouds are starting to roll in again anyway, so again, it was fairly successful. You got a halfway decent view of Jupiter, even though the atmosphere stinks. You saw how bad it looked on Saturn. It's lower in the sky than Jupiter is right now, in a different part of the sky that's got a little more action going on with the atmosphere, so it's really turbulent. And as you can see, the moon is even pretty bad. I couldn't digital zoom very much at all. It was all blown up, just all fuzzy. But at this level, you can see it looks okay, you know? Not crisp like it should be. You saw in other streams I had a much crisper view of the moon. But it is what it is, so. Short and sweet. I'm gonna cut this one off because it's getting pretty late here and it's not worth staying up late when the conditions aren't going to get any better. It's just get worse. So it's 3 a.m. my time right now, just about. On September 1st. There's a local plane going by. And yeah. There you go. 3 objects. At least the first one looked pretty good in times. So again, I'm going to process the Jupiter footage just because I'm curious that there was enough information there that if I stack it and process it a little bit, it should be at least twice or 3 times as good as what you saw. So a little brighter, a little crisper, maybe a few more details will pop out. It's amazing what the stacking software will pull. And it's all free pretty much online. There's all kinds of registacks and one called Stacker, another one. There's a whole bunch of different tools out there. And like I was saying, the clever thing is to shoot a video like I'm doing now. In this case, it's a stream. It's not a direct video on the camera. And you can take the video, crop it, process the images as an AVI to the software. This AVI is just a series of pictures. It's not like in a QuickTime movie, which is more time-based. The AVI is literally just individual pictures, but plays like a movie. So you can process those images and go from there. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll post another video. Obviously, it won't be a live video, so it'll be in the non-live tab of my channel. And should be short and sweet again, just to show the effects. Maybe I'll play a little bit of video before, a little bit after. Also show again what Jupiter looked like at that moment after a snapshot of the astronomy app in my pocket. And that's it. So short and sweet. Thanks you guys for coming to check this out later. I didn't get anyone in the chat this time, but that's fine. I think a lot of folks who will be watching now are working. It's basically, what is it, 11 a.m. in the UK. So anyway, thanks again. Have a good night or day or wherever you happen to be or wherever you happen to watch this. And look out for more stuff coming up. This is, again, another work in progress. They'll just get better and better. Obviously tonight would never have been great because the seeing conditions were weird, but I wanted to practice some more and take a few risks, and we'll see how the Jupiter stuff turns out. But the stream view wasn't horrible. It was, at least you could tell what it was. So that's it. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.